I stood there, gripping Claire's phone, my pulse hammering against my ribs. My breath came in short, uneven bursts as I reread the messages, hoping, praying, that I had misunderstood. But the words were right there, undeniable, taunting me. Tonight was incredible. Can't wait for round 2. Your touch drives me insane, Claire. Meet me at the penthouse again. A tidal wave of nausea surged through me. My hands trembled as I placed the phone back where I had found it, my mind scrambling for rational explanations, but there were none. Claire, my wife, my partner, the woman I had loved, supported, and built a life with, was sleeping with someone else. And it wasn't just some careless affair. This was calculated. Organized. I sank onto the edge of the bed, my chest tightening. The messages weren't filled with desperate apologies or regret. No, they dripped with confidence, as if this arrangement had been going on for a while. As if Claire had mastered the art of deception so well that she no longer feared getting caught. A sharp knock on the bathroom door snapped me from my trance. "Babe, you seen my phone?" Claire's voice was light, unconcerned. For a moment, I didn't move. I couldn't. Then, forcing my voice into something resembling normal, I called back, "It's on the nightstand." The door creaked open slightly, steam curling from the bathroom. Claire stepped out, wrapped in nothing but a towel, water droplets glistening on her skin. The sight, which once would have stirred something deep inside me, now made my stomach churn. She walked over, grabbing the phone without a second glance at me. Her fingers danced across the screen, likely responding to whatever lover was eagerly awaiting her reply. I swallowed down the bile rising in my throat. "Long day?" she asked casually, scrolling through her messages, completely unaware that I already knew the truth. I studied her face, looking for any sign of guilt, any flicker of remorse. But there was none. She was so comfortable lying to me, so at ease in her betrayal, that I realized something chilling. This wasn't just a fling. This was who she had become. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms. "Yeah," I muttered. "Exhausting." She hummed in response, already lost in whatever conversation she was having on her phone. Probably with him. I needed to get out of there before my emotions betrayed me. Rising abruptly, I mumbled an excuse about grabbing a drink and left the bedroom, my footsteps heavy against the hardwood floors. In the kitchen, I poured whiskey into a glass with unsteady hands, watching the amber liquid swirl. My mind raced. Had it always been this way? Had I been blind from the beginning? Claire had always been ambitious, ruthless in her pursuit of success. I had admired that about her, the way she never backed down from a challenge, the way she carved her own path in the business world. But had that hunger for power extended beyond the boardroom? Had I been nothing more than a stepping stone in her grand design? I downed the whiskey in one go, the burn doing little to dull the ache in my chest. Memories flooded my mind, the late nights at the office, the business trips that had seemed too frequent, the way she had started pulling away from me in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. I had ignored the signs, convinced myself that she was just under pressure, that her distance wasn't personal. But now, I saw it for what it was. A pattern. This wasn't just about lust. It wasn't just about desire. Claire was using her body as leverage. To close deals. To secure clients. To climb the corporate ladder at any cost. I gritted my teeth, gripping the edge of the counter. How many men had there been? How many deals had been sealed in the dim glow of hotel rooms rather than boardrooms? How long had she been playing me for a fool? The realization hit me like a freight train. I wasn't just betrayed, I was a liability. An obstacle. And in her world, obstacles got discarded. Claire had always been good at deception. The way she smiled, the way she carried herself with effortless confidence, it was all part of a well-rehearsed performance. I sat in my car across from the luxury hotel, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My heart pounded against my ribs as I replayed the image of her stepping inside, her body language exuding familiarity. She had done this before. Many times. Minutes passed before a sleek black sedan rolled up to the entrance. The man who stepped out looked like he belonged in a corporate magazine, perfectly tailored suit, salt and pepper hair combed back with precision, a posture that screamed authority. He strode inside without hesitation. My stomach twisted. I had no proof yet, but I knew what I would find. Claire had always been ambitious, but now I was seeing the full extent of her hunger for power. Without thinking, I got out of my car and crossed the street. The hotel lobby was drenched in gold accents and marble, the air thick with expensive cologne and quiet conversations. I kept my head down, moving with purpose. The concierge barely spared me a glance, too busy assisting a group of travelers. Claire and the mystery man had already disappeared into the elevator. My pulse raced as I approached the front desk. "My wife just checked in," I said, forcing a casual smile. "Claire Matthews. I was supposed to meet her, but she forgot to text me the room number." The receptionist hesitated. She was young, early 20s at most, her expression torn between professionalism and suspicion. "Penthouse," I repeated, sliding a crisp $100 bill across the counter. Her lips pressed together. Then, with a reluctant nod, she whispered, "Top floor." I turned away before she could ask any questions, my blood roaring in my ears. As I stepped into the elevator, I braced myself for what I was about to see. Would they be laughing over champagne? Would she be draped across him like she once had been with me? The doors opened to a private hallway. I moved swiftly, each step feeling heavier than the last. Suite 1802. The sound of muffled laughter and clinking glasses filtered through the door. My throat tightened. I could turn back, walk away, pretend I had never seen the messages, never followed her here. But that wasn't an option anymore. With a deep breath, I knocked. Silence. Then, Claire's voice. "Room service." I didn't respond. Footsteps approached. The lock clicked. The door swung open. And there she was. Claire stood in nothing but a silk robe, loosely tied, revealing far more than she intended. Her hair was tousled, her cheeks flushed, her lips slightly swollen. The way her pupils dilated the moment she saw me told me everything. Shock, panic, guilt. I pushed past her before she could stop me. The penthouse was extravagant. High ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the city skyline. In the center of it all, standing near the minibar, was the man from the lobby. He was mid-sip when he saw me, his eyes narrowing. "What the hell?" he muttered, placing his drink down. Claire recovered quickly. "What are you doing here?" she snapped, slamming the door shut. I turned to face her, heart hammering. "Funny. I was about to ask you the same thing." Her expression hardened. "You're overreacting." I laughed, the sound bitter. "Overreacting? You're in a penthouse suite with another man, Claire. Forgive me if I'm not buying whatever excuse you're about to spit out." She crossed her arms, masking her panic with feigned annoyance. "It's just business." The man exhaled sharply. "I should go." Claire turned to him, eyes pleading. "No, Richard, wait." "Richard," I repeated, rolling the name over my tongue. "So this is who you've been screwing for business deals." Claire flinched. Richard adjusted his cufflinks, suddenly looking very eager to leave. "This is a private matter," he said stiffly. "I suggest." "You suggest what?" I cut in, stepping closer. "That I walk away and let you continue using my wife as your personal bargaining chip?" He had the decency to look uncomfortable. Claire let out a frustrated sigh. "This isn't what you think." I turned to her, fury simmering beneath my skin. "Then what is it, Claire? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're screwing your way to the top." Her mask cracked for the first time. "You don't understand." "No, I understand perfectly," I interrupted. "You've been lying to me for God knows how long, using your body as a negotiation tactic. And worst of all, you didn't even have the decency to be discreet." Claire's lips parted, but no words came out. Richard grabbed his suit jacket. "I have a meeting to get to." "Coward." He strode past us without another glance, the door clicking shut behind him. Claire and I stood in the silence that followed, the weight of unspoken words pressing between us. I raked a hand through my hair, exhaling sharply. "How long?" She hesitated. "Does it matter?" I laughed, shaking my head. "You're unbelievable." Her expression softened, as if she suddenly realized what she was about to lose. I never meant to hurt you. I stepped back, repulsed. You didn't just hurt me, Claire. You destroyed everything. Tears welled in her eyes, but I had no sympathy left to give. Without another word, I turned and walked away, slamming the door behind me. The elevator ride down felt suffocating, the air thick with the stench of betrayal. My reflection in the mirrored walls showed a man I barely recognized, jaw clenched, eyes dark with fury, shoulders squared with the weight of everything I had just uncovered. I should have felt something more. Grief, maybe. Heartbreak. Some kind of soul-crushing devastation over losing the woman I had once loved. But all I felt was cold. By the time I stepped outside, the city lights blurred around me, neon signs flickering in the drizzle that had begun to fall. Cars honked, pedestrians bustled along the sidewalks, their lives unaffected by the fact that mine had just imploded. I climbed into my car, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. Claire had looked me in the eye and lied. Not just today, countless times before. The way she had tried to manipulate the situation, twisting reality to fit whatever narrative made her feel less guilty, made my stomach churn. I needed a plan. Because I wasn't just going to walk away with my pride shattered and nothing to show for it. I pulled my phone from my pocket, my fingers steady despite the rage coursing through me. A name glowed on the screen, Ethan. My oldest friend, the one person I could trust in the wreckage of this mess. He answered on the second ring. Hey man, what's up? I exhaled slowly. I need a drink. A beat of silence. Then, I'm at Monarch Lounge. Get here now. I threw the car into gear and drove, the city blurring past me in streaks of red and gold. When I arrived, the bar was buzzing with energy, low lighting, a jazz band playing in the corner, conversations humming around me. Ethan sat at a booth near the back, a glass of whiskey already in front of him. The moment he saw my face, he cursed. That bad. I slid into the seat across from him. Worse. He signaled the waitress before turning his full attention to me. Talk. I didn't sugarcoat it. I told him everything. Claire's messages, the hotel, the man, the lies. By the time I finished, Ethan was gripping his glass so hard I thought it might shatter. That cheating, manipulative, he took a deep breath, shaking his head. So what's your move? I stared at my drink, the ice cubes clinking as I swirled the amber liquid. She thinks she's untouchable. That she can play these games and come out on top. Ethan's eyes gleamed. You're going to prove her wrong. A slow smirk curved my lips. Damn right I am. Because Claire had built an empire on deception. And I was about to burn it all to the ground. The next morning, I woke up with a plan. I wasn't going to confront Claire again, that would be pointless. Instead, I was going to hit her where it hurt the most. Her reputation. Her career. Her entire illusion of power. I spent the next few hours digging. Claire had always been careful, but she wasn't perfect. People like her got sloppy when they thought they were invincible. And I was willing to bet there were more skeletons in her closet than just last night's affair. By noon, I had a list of names. Business partners, clients, investors, people who had worked closely with her. And then I found it. A paper trail. Payments made to undisclosed accounts. Lavish gifts bought under the company's expense reports. Meetings that never made it onto official schedules. Evidence of more than just cheating. Evidence of corruption. I leaned back in my chair, my pulse thrumming with adrenaline. Claire wasn't just betraying me. She was breaking the law. And she had no idea that I was about to expose everything. The weight of everything I had discovered settled over me like a storm cloud ready to burst. Claire had done more than just betray me. She had built her career on deception, manipulation, and fraud. And now, I held the match that would set her entire world on fire. I wasn't a cruel man by nature. But after everything she had done, after humiliating me, lying to my face, and turning our marriage into nothing more than a stepping stone for her ambition, she had left me no choice. I spent the next 24 hours setting the wheels in motion. First, I compiled every piece of evidence I had gathered, bank statements, secret transactions, emails that hinted at shady dealings, and the list of executives she had negotiated with behind closed doors. I made sure every document was in order, every file encrypted and backed up in multiple places. Then, I made my move. That evening, Claire was hosting a high-profile networking event, a gathering of corporate elites, investors, and business moguls. The kind of people whose trust she relied on to keep her empire intact. I arrived dressed in my best suit, a confident smirk playing at my lips. I wasn't supposed to be here, but Claire's assistant had always liked me. A simple text pretending to be her husband apologizing for losing the invite had done the trick. Inside, the venue dripped with luxury, chandeliers casting golden light, a live string quartet filling the air with elegance, waiters weaving between guests with trays of champagne. Claire stood at the center of it all, laughing, radiant, completely oblivious to what was about to happen. I made my way through the crowd, catching snippets of conversations about million-dollar deals and corporate takeovers. I spotted Richard, the man from the hotel, chatting with a group of executives, pretending like he hadn't been caught screwing another man's wife just the night before. Claire's eyes landed on me just as I reached the main stage. Her smile faltered. Good. I stepped up to the microphone, tapping it twice to get everyone's attention. Conversations died down. Heads turned. Claire took a step forward, alarm flashing in her expression. Good evening, everyone. I began, my voice steady, commanding. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I know how valuable your time is, so I'll get straight to the point. I pulled a small flash drive from my pocket and held it up. This, I gestured toward the large projector screen behind me, contains information that I believe all of you should see. Claire's face drained of color. Stop, she hissed, already pushing through the crowd toward me. Too late. The screen flickered to life, displaying page after page of financial records, emails, and proof of misappropriated company funds. Whispers spread like wildfire. The murmurs of disbelief turned into sharp gasps as more details flashed across the screen. Fraud, someone muttered. She used company money for personal deals, another voice whispered. A man in the front row, one of the senior investors, turned to Claire, his face twisted in anger. Is this real? Claire spun toward me, fury and desperation battling for control in her eyes. You son of a... Careful, I interrupted smoothly, stepping closer so only she could hear. Wouldn't want to ruin your image any further. She clenched her fists. You don't know what you've done. I leaned in, lowering my voice just enough. Oh, I know exactly what I've done. Security guards appeared at the edges of the room, called in by someone higher up. I suggest you cooperate, I said with a smirk. Wouldn't want to make a scene in front of your colleagues. Claire's breaths came fast and shallow, her entire body trembling. I turned to Richard, who was already edging toward the exit. Leaving so soon? I called out, making sure every eye was on him. He froze. Funny, I continued, my voice dripping with mock amusement. You didn't look so eager to run last night at the hotel. Gasps rippled through the audience. Someone in the back stifled a laugh. Richard's face turned beet red. Claire snapped. You think you've won, she spat. I smiled. Oh, Claire, I murmured. I didn't just win. I made sure you lost everything. Before she could respond, two men in dark suits stepped forward, corporate fraud investigators, judging by the badges they flashed. Claire Matthews, one of them announced, his voice cold and authoritative. We need you to come with us. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The color drained from her face completely. I stepped back, watching as the woman who had betrayed me, the woman who had used her body and lies to climb the corporate ladder, was led away, her entire empire crumbling in front of everyone she had once tried to impress. As she disappeared through the doors, a weight lifted off my chest. I had walked into this evening as the betrayed husband. I walked out as the man who had destroyed the woman who thought she was untouchable. And for the first time in years, I felt free.